How does the millionaire mind work? What does it really take to be the best in your field? Is there a secret to success in life?
I aim for stuff so big that the dream is bigger than the fear.
If you help other people get what they want, you will get what you want.
The easiest thing I've ever done was to earn $1 million. The most difficult thing I've ever done was to believe it could happen to me.
If you want to have more, you have to become more. Success is not a doing process, it's a becoming process.
You start changing your mind. You start changing how you think. You start picking up new ideas and information. And I'm telling you, if you'll do that, your whole life will change. Don't do this any longer. Wish for a better wind. The key is to wish for the wisdom to set a better sail. Utilize whatever wind it blows to take you wherever you want to go. That is the philosophy I picked up at age 25, and it revolutionized my whole life.
This is Success Profiles, the interview show that features world-changing entrepreneurs, high achievers, experts, and more. Success Profiles was created and produced to inspire and empower you to greatness. If you want to be the best, learn from the best. Now, here's your host, Daniel Fazzina.
Hello, friend, and welcome to Success Profiles, where we showcase success and empower you to succeed. I'm your host, Daniel Fazzina, and you can find us online at facebook.com/Success Profiles. Very excited. Got a wonderful guest in store for you today. We're going to be talking with a two-time Guinness World Record holder, Dave Farrow. With over 2,000 interviews and over 100 million hits and counting to his credit, he is the media's most requested expert on brain training. He is a memory expert, and his system was voted the #1 memory program in America, and it's the best-selling memory instructional program in the world. And he's going to be joining us to talk about his journey and how he got into this and what it takes to be a world record holder for memory. His website is davefarrow.com. That's DAVEFARROW.com. He is also the president and CEO of Farrow PR, a full-service public relations firm, soon to be Farrow Communications. And you can also check him out at brainhackers.com. And it's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Dave Farrow right now on Success Profiles. Dave Farrow, welcome to Success Profiles. So great to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, it's an honor to be on your show. Thanks a lot.
Sure thing. Well, the honor is all mine. Now, you are president and CEO of Farrow PR, soon to be Farrow Communications, but you didn't always start out in public relations. You are the memory guy, the memory expert. Tell us how you got into that field of memory, and then how it kind of translated into public relations.
Sure. Well, when I talk to young people, I don't want to call them kids. I did that earlier, and I think it always makes me feel old. So when I talk to young people who want to run their own business, I always say to follow the money. And maybe I differ from a few people on this, but I firmly believe that you want to look for opportunities. You don't necessarily, you want to follow your heart on some level, but you also want to find something that is your skill set, is your abilities as well. And sometimes it's a little different what your heart is. And there's also, there's, as we know as adults, there's what is in your heart of hearts might not be what people are willing to pay for. So when I first started out, I have a natural gift for speaking. I'm really good at wording things and arguments and things like that, and conversations and things like that. And I love public speaking, and I love, researching that when I was a kid. So I got into that, and I started to market myself. And it turned into this whole business where I started speaking for seminars, for workshops, things like that. And then I realized, obviously, that I was just a young kid. I couldn't afford advertising, so I started to do television spots and radio spots. Now, this was in the early days of me teaching my memory system. For those of you who don't know what the memory system is, you just have to Google my name. I think the first 7 pages are all about different shows I've been on. I've been on over 2,000 interviews in the media for my memory ability, as well as a couple of other products. I'm listed in the Guinness Book of World Records for greatest memory. We could talk about what the record is in a bit. But basically, I have a method that I can teach people how to improve their memory. So that's a really cool thing. There are a few other people who do that. And in order to distinguish myself, I realized that I had to get kind of famous really quick. I had to get some publicity. I had to get some exposure really quick. So what I ended up doing is I went after PR in a big way. Like I said, I did over 2,000 shows, and I got really good at going on a show and then doing an interview and making sales from it. So I would drive people to my website, and that paid for my lifestyle, which was a great lifestyle for many, many years, just doing that alone. I mean, I remember I was in my 20s, and in 1 year I made like $350,000 just doing like radio shows. It was incredible. Part of that was what was my biggest show ever, which is my record. I sold over $170,000 in products on one radio interview that thankfully was replayed a few times. My record for television is $250,000, although I didn't get to see all of that.
Are you allowed to say what the shows were?
Yeah. It was Jeff and Jared in San Diego. They had a very, very loyal audience, and now they've kind of moved on to some other things. But Jeff and Jared in San Diego were a great thing, and I actually got an hour long on the show. And I was on just before me was Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, it was really wicked. But I actually have a whole CD set that now is a digital download that has my commentary on it that shows people, how I got a show like that, how I was able to turn that show into money instead of just get some exposure out of it. I've been around long enough. I've been doing this for about 20 years. I've seen how media has changed and grown. I've had 2 infomercials because of this. I've got a sponsorship deal with Sony in the past, Sony US and Canada, and been able to pay for my immigration from Canada, as you know, and now I'm a dual citizen, and I go through the college market. So essentially, this ability to promote myself has opened so many doors for me. So what happened at one point was I got kind of bored with memory. And I started to do a lot of different things. Now, with a memory like mine, I'm able to learn about 8 times faster than most people. I'm considered an autodidact. Essentially, what I did is I learned things like languages. I became conversational in Cantonese and Mandarin, for example, and a few other things. But I really got into technology. I was a nanotech scientist for about 4 years when nanotech was brand new, and it wasn't even taught in any college or school. I remember I was with somebody in the industry when Harvard had its first actual course on nanotech specifically, and I was like lecturing because I had sped read through every patent on nanotech. So I kind of got restless, but that wasn't really the field for me. What I found out was when people came back to me and they said, "Hey, you had this idea, you were an author, you wrote a book, you got a lot of press out of it, and you made millions in sales. Show me how you did it." And I started to share with people. I mean, I was talking to you, we were talking to other people. We've shared connections in the past as well, Daniel. And so many people came up to me asking me for advice and ideas. And then I saw what the competition was. I saw other people out there who were talking about PR and marketing, and so much of it was sharing kind of the shiny new thing as opposed to talking about an actual skill set that one can learn and develop,
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And there, you mentioned something before that's very key, in that just because you get publicity or exposure for something, that doesn't necessarily translate into sales.
Yeah.
I deal with book authors all the time that's the case, that you have to learn how to present the information and how to market it, how to package it, and how to get it to the listeners. But so tell me, you have 2 world records from memory, and what does it take to become a memory expert, the world's record holder in that? What kind of mindset do you have to have? And I mean, how does that work?
Well, looking back, I probably would have gone for records that were a lot easier, but they wouldn't have lasted as long, though. That's the thing. I'm still actually the current record holder for my category, like 20 years later, which is crazy. But like when I was 21, I broke this record, and I had to break it back in 2009 to really, I guess, kind of own it. The guy who I broke it back, and then I just kind of had to knock it out of the park. So the record is, I memorized the exact order of 59 decks of playing cards, all shuffled together. That's 3,068 cards in total.
That's amazing. How did you come up with the number 59? Why 59 decks?
Well, that's actually a funny reason, because I didn't intend to do 59. I intended to do 62. So when I was 21 years old, I memorized 52 decks of cards.
Okay.
The world record at the time was 40, and I thought, okay, let's just knock this out of the park. Aim really high. I'm not going to beat it. I'm not going to do like 41 or 42. That's what was going on for a while. People were kind of trading back and forth, adding a couple of decks here and there, and I thought, my God, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to kill myself. I'm just going to do more. Now, when people hear 10 decks of cards, 40 decks of cards, it sounds impossible. You think that I'm some sort of Rain Man or something. Without going into too much depth, anybody can do this with the right training and practice. Now, you have to use my system in order to do it, and I haven't actually shared with people everything that I did about memorizing decks of cards. So I did now, but early in the days I kind of kept some of my stuff secret. But now it's actually a subject of a lot of competition. There's people around the world who could probably break my record if they really tried, and there's like a good 50 to 100 people around the world that are at the same level, whereas back in the day when I started, there was maybe 5 people that could do similar things. So as with anything, it gets competitive as we get older, So what I do is the best way to describe it is kind of like you're making mental movies, and then you're remembering the scenes from the movies, but you just get really good at remembering the details. But I'm using a code that translates all those details into playing cards in this case. Or I would use a different code to translate them into numbers, for example, that sort of thing. Like for numbers, a simple code is that 1 is red, 2 is orange, 3 is yellow, that sort of thing. So you see something that's yellow, that means the number 3. That's kind of, I'm oversimplifying, but that's kind of how we do it. If you remember a movie, you can actually remember a ton of things of different colors. You probably could remember 100, 200 digit number and not even know it with very, very little training. But with training, you can do thousands and tens of thousands.
I can see how it would be very valuable and applicable in our culture, because we are such a visual culture. We're a video culture.
Yeah.
And wow, that's amazing. We just got a minute or two left here, but for anyone who's watching or listening, who may want to, maybe they have a book or they have a product and they want to get successful, they want to get their message out. One or two kind of pieces of advice you would give them as not only a memory expert, but a media expert and a PR expert.
Sure. Well, I would have to say definitely go after PR. It will change your life. It is a learning curve. Don't expect to make big bucks right away. I bombed on a bunch of interviews. I have a whole bunch of embarrassing interviews that I have never recorded and posted.
Oh.
I went for 2,000, so I'm really good. You cannot do 2,000 interviews and be bad at doing interviews, okay? You can't. You've got to be the craziest person in the world. So the other thing is very few people are way above us. We often put people on a pedestal. A lot of people put me on a pedestal, and I firmly believe I've got a high IQ and everything, but I firmly believe that there's multiple intelligences, and everybody has their own kind of intelligence, their own brilliance to them. What I would say is look for an opportunity, look for something that other people are doing badly that you could do well, and don't be afraid to break some rules. Now, I don't mean laws, but I mean rules. I didn't go to college for PR, but I hired people who did, and they handle, a lot of the more, let's call it academic things. I'm not the best with editing and grammar, so I get my people to cover everything I do, and they think my spelling is atrocious, but the words I use are amazing. So everybody has their own skill set. You can't think that you're too good, or you also can't think that you're terrible. Everybody has their own skill set, and really I think the best way to make money is to find the best fit for your skill set. In my case, I found other people that fill in blanks that I'm very bad at, and it makes me look so much better. And if you can find that, then hold on to it with everything you've got, and you can really, be a force multiplier in your life. So that's kind of a bunch of tips in there.
Oh, that's great. That's good stuff. It's kind of like you create a team, and you have team members that kind of shore up your weaknesses. And
like a lot of people would say, "Oh, you have employees, so how do I? I don't have employees, so it doesn't apply to me." Before I had employees, I had like a girlfriend that would proofread my stuff, or I had like a friend of mine that had like an English degree but was flipping burgers. I think we can find a few of those. And whatever it is, I'd ask somebody advice. I'd ask another person, for contrary advice, just so I could get both perspectives, and then I'd take action. So you have so many resources out there, especially in today's day and age with the internet. There's resources where you can get a flyer made for $50. I remember spending like $800 for my first flyer to be made, and that's back when I couldn't afford $800. But so there's no excuses anymore, and I want you to see opportunity instead of problems. Every single time there's a drawback or something holding you back, it's an opportunity to be better.
I love that. That's kind of like what my dad's piece of advice to me was, and one of his sayings is, there are no problems in life, only opportunities for growth. So
That's true. And I've never had a failure. I've only had learning experiences and successes.
That is wonderful.
And it sounds cheesy, but you know what? Life really is that simple. That's the hard truth that a lot of people don't want to admit. Life is actually that simple, that if you just treat all your setbacks like learning experiences and keep on persevering, you will succeed. You can't help but succeed.
That is amazing and great advice, sound advice. Dave Farrow, thank you so much, my friend. I really appreciate your time, and I wish you all the best and continued success.
Hey, thank you very much, Daniel. And if anybody wants to find out more about me, just Google Dave Farrow. You can check out farrowpr.com, soon to be Farrow Communications. We're making a shift there. And you can also check me out at davefarrow.com.
All right.
You've been listening to Success Profiles with Daniel Fazzina. Join us next time as we bring you another empowering interview designed to help you achieve greatness here on Success Profiles.
Hi, I'm Kevin McCullough. You may know me from Fox News or Talk Radio. Have you ever wondered or pondered the idea of working for yourself or owning your own business? Using your skills to build a vision or a passion for your own life? Think about it. No boss, no politics, no compromise, no commute, no employees, no discrimination, and no educational requirements. Just building something positive that impacts people's lives. Well, you can get started owning your own energy company for less than $500. Would you like to know how? It's through a great company called Ambit. You can find out more when you go to freepowernow.com. That's freepowernow.com. Or if you're really interested in getting started, call my good friend Daniel Fazzina, an independent energy consultant with Ambit. He's ready to help you get started on a brand new career. 205-55-AMBIT. That's 205-55-AMBIT or freepowernow.com.